Welcome to CivilNet. My guest today from Istanbul is Cengiz Aktar, who is a public intellectual in the true sense of the word. He teaches, he writes, he speaks, and on one of his many themes, of course, is the Turkey-Armenia relationship, Turkish-Armenian relationship. Cengiz, thank you for giving us time on CivilNet.
Thank you.
Cengiz, we're going to start with the great column that you had written for Al-Jazeera, which, if I remember right, is called "Turkey is Losing the Battle of Truth."
Yeah.
Tell us what your thesis was, please.
I mean, the headline of the article belongs to Al-Jazeera, which, by the way, I commend wholeheartedly, because after all, it's an Arabic journal, and with the exception of Lebanon, as you know, no other Arabic countries, have had the courage to call a spade a spade. So, I think the piece was extensively read, but not only by Armenians. It got 3.3 thousand likes in Facebook, which is...
You're a popular man.
It is apparently a record in the history of the website. It flied around in the U.S. Where Al-Jazeera is not necessarily.
Why do you think it resonated so well?
I don't know. I mean, it gathered attention and interest of the reader public of Al-Jazeera, and all the best, I think. And there was a huge debate going on in the among the readers. My thesis was very simple. I mean, if I keep repeating this since years now, the memory works in this country, in those lands, are formed and will continue to do so by the Turkish civil society, or rather the civil society of Turkey, because the Kurds, Armenians, and others are all involved in this memory works. And this is definitely the salient and primary dynamic, which is unescapable. I mean, it's the very dynamic which will one day, hopefully, make the state and the public at large to understand what really happened in 1915 and before and after.
Cengiz, you had written this piece before Prime Minister Erdogan's statement of April 23rd.
Yeah.
And before his long interview to Charlie Rose on American television.
Yeah.
And do you think you would have said anything differently had you written the column afterwards? In other words, I guess I'm asking you to assess the impact of Erdogan's statement in this search for truth.
Well, I mean, I would probably add one important remark. After Prime Minister Erdogan's thoughts, which, by the way, were written by a number of writers, both from the foreign ministry and his entourage at the prime ministry. I think, the fact that he indirectly points at various point of view in a democracy free to be expressed, he indirectly attributes a status to the quote-unquote thesis of Armenian genocide. So, and this is new. This is extremely important. And that never happened before.
In some way, he gave you cover, almost.
Exactly. And this is what I already mentioned to our good friend Titizian the other day. after the commemoration of the 24th of April.
That's Maria Titizian from our staff who was there in Istanbul during the April 24th week, yes.
Exactly. I mean, it doesn't mean that the Turkish state is ready to recognize the Armenian genocide. Far from it. But it will let memory works, the healthy memory prevails, you know, to go unabated. And this is extremely important. So I would have added that in the piece had I written it after his 23rd of April speech. I would have added also his words regarding the grandchildren of the genocide victims, and this is something that his constituency, the Muslim people in this country, have certainly heard and will continue to hear, because yesterday, on Tuesday, 29th of April, you know, he again mentioned this related to his speech of the 23rd of April. He repeated in his weekly group speech the same idea. So this is also important, and it will certainly have its effect in the courts among the constituents of the AK.
That's the part that I think is a huge opening for us, the Armenian side of this, to be able to turn around and say, if I am the grandchild, somewhere there is a grandmother or a grandfather, or was. Now, where was that grandmother, grandfather? Where were they born? Where did they live? Where did they worship? Where were they educated? And where is the recognition of that?
Yeah.
Where am I in Ani? Where am I in Akhtamar? Because my name doesn't exist. This is our opening, I think.
Exactly. You know, this is, we should read these condolences and the wish that the souls of the victims may rest in peace in another way, actually. You know, in Anatolia, especially in the spots of crime, you know, the oral history is very much alive. I mean, no one is naive. I mean, everybody knows what happened to Armenians, especially in the Kurdish lands of this country. So I think that the words of Tayyip Erdogan will have the effect of opening up this memory, and the people will feel, you know, more free to talk openly about what they know or what they have heard from their parents regarding their fellow Armenian neighbors.
It's the condolence part is also interesting. A Turkish friend said, you know, you can only express condolence once. You can't do that every year. Now that you've expressed condolence, we need to move on. So it's interesting that everyone who wants to see this process move forward is seeing an opening somewhere in those lines uttered by Erdogan.
Yes, but I mean, you know, we should never, I mean, we should not minimize what is happening, but we shouldn't exaggerate its scope either. I think to be honest and to follow up on this quote-unquote opening, I think the government has to demonstrate and has the opportunity to do and the room to demonstrate many things. I mean, I would think, for instance, right away about the famous Article 305, which, by the way, never applied to the Penal Code, where in the explanation of this Article 305, the legislature directly points at the utterance of the Armenian genocide as a crime. So, for instance, the government can abolish the Article 5 or the explanation of as for the for the Armenians of Turkey, there are 70 to 80,000 Armenians in this country. The right for equal citizenship. Here again, a very concrete, thing that can be achieved, to fill this opening, which for the time being is very much void by the. Not to mention, of course, the opening of the border. I mean, okay, is the Turkish government ready to face the Azeri pressure and to go ahead alone, open the sealed border in 2015? These are, I think, valid and legitimate questions.
Thank you, Cengiz Aktar. Thank you for giving us this time on CivilNet, and a good conversation with you as always, and we look forward to talking to you again soon. Thank you for following us on CivilNet.